This week on A Comic Book Orange, we review Incognito and interview rap artist turned writer Percy Carey. For too long, I have lived incognito, my supervillain identity kept secret by the Witness Protection Program.
But no more! Oh shit, I forgot they took my costume!
In the proud tradition of such films as Fight Club and The Matrix, featuring a disgruntled white-collar worker reliving the drudgery of modern office life through acts of violence, Incognito takes a stab at the genre by telling the tale of a supervillain bored with life under the Witness Protection Program. It's a good mashup of crime and superhero comics from the same team as Criminal, and therein lies the problem. It's nothing we haven't seen before. Ed Brubaker delivers his usual excellent writing with gritty twists of sex and violence, though the main character's a bit of a hard-ass one-note personality. It seems to affect Sean Phillips's art, with character shots feeling stiff and repetitive, and though the film noir-inspired shadows are fun, they sometimes go into overkill and possibly hide a multitude of art sins. One thing is for certain, though, the coloring by Val Staples is as awesome as in the Criminal series. And again, that's the main problem. We want to love Incognito, but it still needs to show us something different. It has promise, though, so if your office life is lame and you're in the mood for a little bit of the old ultra-violence, this one's for you. We give Incognito 3 oranges out of 5. This week, we're at Meltdown Comics in West Hollywood, California, to interview Percy Carey, writer of the powerful autobiography, Sentences, The Life of M.F. Grimm. What made you decide to go into the graphic novel genre?
Actually, a friend of mine, Casey Sejas, he was at Vertigo DC Comics, and I had a couple of ideas about comic books, and he thought they were cool, but he was like, you ever thought about creating one about yourself? And I was like, nah, my life is too boring. And he stated to me, he was like, no, it's far from boring.
Wow.
He said that when you write your rhymes, it's basically the same way. I hear it in your rhymes, so why don't you just write about yourself? The hardest part was just so much about my life, you know, just to put in a book.
You did have to leave a few names out. So
yeah,
was it hard to decide what you were going to leave in or leave out?
Yes. Actually, I had to leave a lot of my life out because of personal reasons, but also for legal reasons as well. So it became difficult because, you know, I know when you read it, you're like, well, whoa, there's a big gap in between here and here. What were you doing there? What I did like the fact of it being a graphic novel is that I have more control. Being as just panels, you know, shots and stuff like that, you can stop it. Where in film, you have to continue to go and continue to go. So I have more control. And I just thought it's the perfect like medium, you know, coming from music to jump into graphic novels.
How did you find an artist to work on it with you?
Casey Sejas and Karen Berger gave me a few artists to choose from, and I saw Ron's and I just had to go with it. It's funny because Ron had worked with MF Doom. He's an artist as well. He's a hip-hop artist. And so Ron had worked on some of his stuff before, so he was already familiar with me, and he's in tune with the culture that I come from. So we shared a lot of the same vibe and things of that nature, so it was kind of easy. You know, it was like this with us.
Anything else that you'd want to talk about?
We're working on a book with GZA from Wu-Tang Clan.
Wow.
2 books with him, actually. And also comic book with Mr. Tyrese Gibson. He has an amazing comic book called Mayhem that's written by Mr. William Wilson, Mike Lee, and also Tyrese himself. And the artwork is Tone Rodriguez. It's going to change the way the comic book industry perceives independent companies. We're coming. You know, I want to show I'm not a one-trick pony. I'm coming with something hard.
For more information on Percy Carey, check out his website at percycarey.com or follow his exploits on Twitter as @PercyCarey. Well, that's it for this week. Go to acomicbookorange.com or YouTube to leave us comments. And I'll see you next week for another episode of A Comic Book Orange.
2 + 2, add 'em up, get 5. Capital of Boston, masses, Beverly. See that man with the gun, poke him in the eye. Now, GW Bush would never lie.